Hey, Spuckers, what I do with plants. It's me, Spuckers here, contributing this video. I am turning more anime characters into mech armors. In this video, I am turning 4 MHA characters, in my opinion, that are the strongest, being Deku, aka Zuko Midoriya, Katsuki Bakugo, Shota Todoroki, and Ejiro Tsushima. In my opinion, those are the 4 strongest, and I'm turning them into mech armors, just so I have more practice for a video I want to work on later. So, without further ado, roll intro and let's get into this video. Let's go. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this video.
Hey, it's me, Counter Striker, coming at you again. I made some new mechs, and these mechs were actually for a group of people. They were going to a hero school. They all didn't have any power, so they were all powerless. So they had asked if they could get some power suits from someone. The people said, yeah, sure, because everyone in the school needs some type of power. Matter of fact, this was a mech school. Either they learned how to make mechs, or they made mechs and wore them themselves and became heroes. These people all had their own preferences for powers. This one kid inherited from one of the number one heroes where he lives from a mech that had some relatively nice build, but he asked not to keep it, but actually just for the plans. So he brought me the plans, and he actually also brought me his measurements too. The guy worked pretty well, even though he said the only reason why he had so much money is because from all the part-time jobs he was saving up in order to go to the school. Ultimate Mega Academy, UMA. This was a school in Japan. These kids were flying over to America, but they were going to, so when they called me up, I told them I'd come over there to make the mix for them. So I came over, and no one even knew who I was. Just knew I was one of the best people in the world to make mechs. Like I already stated, this kid gave me plans for a very powerful, strength-enhancing mech. But looking at this, he was the 9th person to have it, so the power somehow always gets increased. He also had the power source, which also was relatively powerful. I'm still trying to figure out how to make something like that. Someone tells me someone was using some type of magic or something, or advanced technology, because whenever it goes down to the next user, it's more powerful than the last guy. It's more of an accumulation core. Those things are stupidly rare too. So I had that built into the design, and the thing has unlimited power. But if the guy uses it for too long, the power starts interfering with his own body, causing the mech to become more brittle. But for some reason, the mech never breaks. It more or less his bones breaking somehow. For the armor, it was a simple design, mostly green with a mouth guard, right where his mouth should be. That metal was relatively thick too. Had some nice black straps and a nice unique design. Some very dense metal feet, because originally his fighting style was with fists, but after a while the hands got pretty messed up. So he started switching to his legs, so he needed some very dense feet. So I did that. So I also decided to make some very dense shoulder pads, just in case the guy needs to shoulder something like a door and break it down. The guy is a very powerful one. He faces off against a very powerful villain with an actual ability that allowed him to break someone down. Also, if I remember correctly, I made a mech for that guy afterwards. Yeah, somehow he got hold of who made them. I ain't telling anyone anything, but I'm personally hoping that guy gets his face punched in for what I've heard about him. I just make his mech for money. That's all I wanted from him was money. So I'm hoping that guy gets his face punched in. Also, the other villains got rid of his arms. It was he's a big giant germaphobe. But this kid introduced himself as a Zukum. and that was his armor. So let's get to the next one. Now another armor, which was one of this kid's friends, also an old bully of his, but the guy is a little hot-headed like my grandma. Like, you know, the person that will snap your, well, is all barking and pretty gonna have a bite too. He had explosion preference, Pyro. I call him Pyro. His nickname was Kachan, which I found out translated to explosion or loud. pretty accurate too. He also had a fascination with sharp objects. So when I was making his design, I decided to have a little X over the chest for some bizarre reason. But other than that, for the knee pads, I made some very sharp things, so that way you can use it as a weapon just in case he needs to knee someone. He can cause flames to come out of the palms, but he can also cause very big explosions from some chemical that was found that is very explosive. The way it works is that when it's on its hands, he can heat up his hands, causing an explosion. The way this works, it has a heating element in the palms. Like, it's a unflammable material, but can still conduct a very good amount of heat. Yeah, I used tungsten to layer that. Tungsten heats up really well, but if you heat it up too much, you can cause a pretty nice explosion. And this guy, if I warned him, if he uses the explosions too many times, he's going to throw off his shoulder. And they're lucky they have someone with a healing ability there at his school. You may. Other than that, the X is a red color. Most of it is an orange color. The chest, besides the X, is the black. And other than that, and the gauntlets being a green color, and a green color similar to Azuku's strength mech. His knee pads were also a very nice shade of gray. Also, I'm pretty sure that guy gave someone a nasty concussion to the explosion. But other than that, they all paid pretty well too. And they never learned my name, Colonel Striker. And afterwards, I told the kid that my name was Colonel Striker, and if he ever needs any repairs, I will repair them for him for free. I like the kid because he's a really genuinely nice guy. Remind me a little bit of my old self before I got a nasty concussion that changed my attitude a little. So let's get to the next one.
All I wanted to say right here was that I really like the way these sketches turned out. The designs, though, are okay. My personal favorite, though, has to be the Kirishima, which is the last one, followed by the Bakugo, which you've just seen. Bakugo or Shoto, both were very nice designs, but my least favorite is actually, weirdly, the Deku one, Deku's my favorite character in the anime. So, now let's continue this video.
Now, our next guy, he was powerless, but even though he came from two parents that have very powerful abilities. One was a Pyrokinesis guy, his mother was a Pyrokinesis girl. Pyrokinesis is the ability to use ice with your mind and manipulate it to whatever you want. Pyrokinesis is more commonly known to the ability to use fire with your mind. His father is an abusive jerkwad, but still not as bad as the other guy. Still want to punch him in the balls myself, to be honest. So I made the armor. Modeling after his hair, which was actually red on one side and white on the other, very correctly. It was red on the left side and white on the right side. So I made some canisters and implanted them around the arm. The armor actually is a very the container is cold proof and fireproof. You try melting it or freezing it, it ain't gonna do anything. It's a very nice material too. It's also hooked up into the it's a little bit, it's about his mid arm, a little bit below his a little bit above his elbow, and all the way up to his wrist. So it takes up about a good chunk of it, and it's plugged into the hands, so he can use flames or ice. Due to his father, he never really used his fire that much. But that kid told me that a few months ago that he actually inspired him to start using the fire, because it was just because it reminded him of his father. It was from the guy who made him this armor. This guy, name was Shoto. I call it Shoto's Icy Hot Mech, because his attitude was a little cold too. Now let's get to the next one. This next one I had to use Nanobots for, and this one was relatively difficult, on the count that it was very similar to another mech I've made, the Nano Tungsten one, but this one was more difficult on the count that I had to use a layer of Nanobots for the entire armor, mainly in the arms and legs. This guy liked the ability to harden his body, so he asked for some type of armor that will allow him to harden his body, or the mech armor itself. I decided to model it after the Nano Tungsten, but I made him a very nice strength and durability armor too. So I did that, but then I layered a container of nanobots in there, and then hooked them up to the actual suit in order for them to form around his arms or to make spikes. He really liked the armor too. Not to mention, that thing took me forever to make. Each one alone took me around a week. This one took me around 3 weeks, because all the layering and all that needed to be done. The guy had some spiky red hair, so I decided to actually make a little area for his hair to actually pop out at. But due to the nanobots, I had to form some type of protection around it, so no one could just go punch in the back of his head, cause him to go unconscious. So I made it to where it's hardened up there, and it's still a nice red color. It's, matter of fact, the same color as skin, his hair. This kid, I call it the Nano Hardening Armor, because of the nanobots being able to harden, making it to some type of armor. It was a very difficult armor to make. In my decision, if all 4 of these were to be pinned up into a fight, the 2 that will most likely come out on top is either the explosive guy or Izuku. Izuku will most likely come out on top, because how much power does that thing have in it? I tested it using a little gauntlet. Actually, I managed to copy the design. I'm still trying to figure out how it works. But holy cow, when I punched something, my hand just about broke, and the metal wall turned to dust. This metal wall was around a foot thick and 5 feet tall. Punched a hole straight through it, but from the impact, it caused so many cracks, it just turned to dust. I luckily was able to melt it down and actually add it to some armor I'm working on for myself, modeling after the Nano Hardening armor. That was a really nice armor too. I'm thinking about mixing the Nano Tungsten armor ability with that one and the Nano Hardening armor to make a really nice sword ability on that one arm. But back to the Nano Hardening armor. It was a very nice armor to make, but it's a very difficult one to make as well. So if I ever need to do repairs on that one, I'm going to ask him to bring it to America and stay and go and train his physical body. Because the armor might not work all the time because of how hard it is to make and fix. That's all I got time for today.
I really hope you'll like these drawings for this video today. Until next time, subscribe to Dangerous Packaging or Demons Alliance. Goodbye and peace out.